Understatement of the year. The 2025 season for the Baltimore Ravens has not gone to plan. It's easy to see that. Week 1, 41-40 loss. Absolutely blew it in the fourth quarter against the Bills. Then you beat Cleveland week 2. Great job. Gold star for you. Week 3, embarrassed. Monday Night Football, primetime at home. Week 4, embarrassed on the road against one of your biggest rivals in the conference. And then week 5, yeah, you had a lot of injuries, but 44-10 to the Houston Texans at home. It's obvious, in my opinion, that John Harbaugh's message is lost. The effort's not there from the team. The execution's not there from the players. The want to, the grit, that's all gone. And in my opinion, that trickles down from the head coach. And I hear a lot of people saying, Joey, they can't fire John Harbaugh. He won a Super Bowl. This team was in the AFC Championship just 2 years ago. You won a playoff game last year, almost 2. But guys, unless John Harbaugh has a Hall of Famer on his football team, like Ray Lewis or Lamar Jackson, it's been pretty mediocre. I think a lot of us forget about the time from 2013 to 2016 when this team went 8-8, 5-11, 8-8, and 9-7. Guys, Lamar Jackson saved John Harbaugh's career. Flat out, plain and simple. That's obvious to see right now. So on today's show, I'm going to give you 10 names that I want you to monitor for the rest of this season because he's not going to get fired anytime soon. If he does get fired, it's going to be at the end of the year. So I'm giving you 10 names to keep an eye on as my short list for possible John Harbaugh replacements for Baltimore. 10 names that might be Baltimore's first new head coach in 18 years. Unfortunately, this team gets dominated on the field. We're getting dominated in our season-long sub-battle with Steelers Talk. Down 115 subscribers. Not terrible, but that's not good enough. So I need you guys to help me out. If you have not subscribed, today is the perfect day to do so because it helps make a Steelers fan day worse. It helps prove to everybody here at Chat Sports, that the Baltimore Ravens fan base is the best fan base in the National Football League. In return, you get daily coverage, all 100% free. Sometimes 2 videos a day, live streams during the week, watch parties for games. It's the best place to be, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Hit that subscribe button. Play like a Raven. That's what this team, what this franchise has been built on. The definition for that, thanks to Google: passion, strength, character, courage, and intensity, imposing one's will on opponents with a nasty, tough, and determined style of play. That's not with this franchise anymore. That used to be this team. It's not anymore, okay? So I think that when they're looking for a new guy, if they do look for a new guy, they would look for a guy to bring that back to Baltimore. I think Jesse Minter could be that guy. Now, this list is in no particular order, but I will say the first couple people on this list are very high on my list, starting with Jesse Minter, okay? He was the defensive coordinator for Georgia State from 2013 to 2016. Then spent time in Baltimore from 2017 to 2020. A lot of time as a defensive assistant and then a defensive backs coach. Then he was hired at Vanderbilt to be their defensive coordinator in 2021. Spent time in Michigan 2022 to 2023, where he did win a championship with one Jim Harbaugh. Of course, when Harbaugh took the jump to the NFL, brought Minter with him, and Los Angeles' defense has been phenomenal really ever since. Jesse Minter is young. He's fresh. He's new. I think that's something that this team, this franchise needs. Someone young, someone with a new look on things. That hasn't been in this league, that hasn't been a coach for 2 decades, 3 decades at that. I also think he's just got that ability to make guys want to play for him. He's a young defensive mind, and I believe that Jesse Minter, whether it's with the Baltimore Ravens or whether it's with a college football team or another team in the National Football League, I've got a feeling Jesse Minter is going to be a head coach at some point in 2026. Brian Flores is next on my list. Currently the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. And I love Brian Flores. If you want a guy that can bring out the play like a Raven attitude, I don't think there's a guy on planet Earth that could do it more than Brian Flores. He's tough. He's physical. Hell, he lost his job in Miami because he was too tough. Now, I think he learned a lot from that stint, being the head coach for the Dolphins from 2019 to 2021. I don't think he'd make those same mistakes. But isn't that kind of what we're wanting right now? Some guy who can bring out accountability in these players, that can bring out the best in them, that can coach them hard, be tough. That's what we want. That's who Brian Flores is. He also, I believe, is the best defensive coordinator in the game right now. What he does with Minnesota, with all the simulated pressures, with all the looks, with the pressure they're able to generate with just 4 guys, it's exactly what this team is missing. It's exactly what this team is missing. Number 3, we're going to stay with another defensive guy for this one, okay? But before that, I actually do have to ask you a question very, very quickly. What is your number 1 choice to replace Harbaugh? Who is it? Okay, you let me know down below in the comment section. I've been seeing a lot of Jesse Mentors online. I've been seeing a decent bit of Brian Flores. I've been seeing some Rex Ryans, some John Grudens. I've been seeing some, I don't know, I've seen a lot of things. You let me know in the comment section down below. Number 3, Jeff Hafley, current defensive coordinators for the Green Bay Packers. And let me tell you this, their defense has been phenomenal. Now, did they have a good showing against the Dallas Cowboys? No, they didn't. But they've been phenomenal every game up until that point. Hafley's kind of bounced around between college and the National Football League, was a defensive back coach for the Browns for 2 years, then with the 49ers for 2 years, then was a co-DC for Ohio State in 2019, spent some time in Boston College for 4 seasons, being their head coach, and then got that step up to the National Football League, back up, and is the defensive coordinator and has been for Green Bay since 2024. I really like Jeff Hafley a lot, and I think he kind of goes into fits the mold of a play like a Raven. I think he's really tough. I think he's really physical. If you look at that Green Bay Packers defense play, it feels like they're flying around the ball, and that's what it feels like is missing right now with the Baltimore Ravens. So Jeff Hafley, I think he's a name to watch out for. I think there's a good chance he'd be on a lot of guys' head coaching lists after this season. Joe Brady, we're going to take a step away from the toughness from the defensive coordinator. We're going to talk an offensive guy. Joe Brady's been really, really impressive with Buffalo. Okay? Say what you will about the Bills. Say what you will about Josh Allen. You can't look at the success that they've had and what Josh Allen has turned into and not attribute some of that to Joe Brady. He was most notable and kind of got his name out there in 2019 when he was the pass game coordinator for the LSU Tigers when they had the best offense in the history of college football. Then Matt Rule took a shot at him in 2020 and 2021. He stepped up to the National Football League, was the offensive coordinator for Carolina, but it was too early for him, in my opinion. Lost their jobs, then went to quarterback coach for the Bills, and then has spent time since as their pass game coordinator, now offensive coordinator. Joe Brady's a young mind. He's a fresh mind. He's a brilliant mind, in my opinion. We've seen him get something out of Josh Allen that I think a lot of us did not expect that could ever be there with Josh Allen. Like, a lot of people expected he could be a really good football player, but there was always the turnover problem. And since Joe Brady's been in Buffalo, like, guys, Josh Allen doesn't really turn the football over. I think he's a name you got to watch out for. Mike Macdonald, the current head coach of the Seahawks. I would be remiss if I did not put his name on. This is probably the overwhelming favorite of who you guys want to be the next head coach. And while it doesn't happen often, a coach going from head coach at one team in the National Football League to the other, I think it's reasonable to think that Mike Macdonald would make that jump from Seattle to Baltimore just because of how much Baltimore has meant to him in his coaching tenure. He started there in 2014 as a coaching intern and then spent time from 2015 to 2020 as an assistant, a defensive backs coach, a linebackers coach, pretty much doing everything in the defensive realm. Then he got that call to Michigan in 2021 with Jim Harbaugh to be their defensive coordinator. Then they did so great, right? Then he got the call back to Baltimore once they moved on. And in 2022 to 2023, served as a defensive coordinator for the Ravens. And the rest has really been history for him because he got that job in 2024 up until now as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. We all remember that 2023 team and that 2023 defense, really, in my opinion, for being that last iteration of what play like a Raven is. That's the last team, in my opinion, that's played tough, that's played physical. Hell, guys, they had the best defense in the league. They let up 280 points in 17 games, and so far through 5, you've let up 177. Now, it's not going to be easy pulling somebody away who's been at a team for a couple of years. He's been with Seattle. It's going to be his second season. With how much Baltimore's meant to him, and how much he fits the mold there, I think it's at least realistic to talk about. Be honest with me. What do you think the percent chance is that John Harbaugh gets fired? You let me know in the comment section down below. Scale that from 1 to 100 for me right now. I got to tell you guys real quick about our sponsor at Prize Picks. We got 5 more names to get to. Before that, if you guys just play $5 in lineups, you can get $50 with our code CLNS. You and I, we make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Derrick Henry's rushing yards, receiving yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Here is my Prize Picks for. We got some Monday Night Football, Jaguars, Chiefs. Give me more on Brian Thomas, 56.5 receiving yards. And I'm feeling a little bit pessimistic with the Chiefs. Give me the less on Kareem Hunt carries, 8.5. Give me the less on Travis Kelce, 41.5 receiving yards. I know Taylor Swift just dropped a new album, but still, give me the less on receiving yards for Kelce. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Now we're finally getting spicy. Let's talk Dan Lanning, the head coach of the Oregon Ducks. I think if I had to start a college football program with anybody in the country and I had to pick my head coach, Dan Lanning would be my choice. I would absolutely love to go and play for this guy. He is so tough. He is so disciplined. And his teams mirror that. They mirror it perfectly. Okay? Graduate assistant at Bama in 2015. Then spent time as the inside linebackers coach at Memphis in 2016 to 2017. 2018, that was his first year at Georgia, was the outside linebacker coach. Then was their defensive coordinator from 2019 to 2021. That's how he got that head coaching job at Oregon, where he's been there ever since 2022. I will give this caveat. When you're hiring a coach from the college ranks, a lot of times it doesn't work out. And the reason for that is just because they don't have the connections in the National Football League to hire great staffs around. And that's what it's going to take for a lot of these guys to have success. That's what it's going to take for really any of these head coaches to have success, is to have guys around them. So that's my only question mark with Dan Lanning. But as for the ability to lead a group of men, I don't think I have more trust in anybody on this list than him right there. Anthony Weaver is another name we got to mention. Another name I think you guys got to look out for. The defensive coordinator with the Miami Dolphins. Of course, he got that job being the assistant head coach and defensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens from 2022 to 2023. Was a big part of that defense that led the National Football League in sacks in 2023. He was defensive coordinator in 2020 for the Houston Texans. Of course, that all went to you-know-what, and that's how the Baltimore Ravens got him as defensive line coach in 2021. Their defense is not good. It's not as bad as the Ravens is this year, but it's not good. They don't have injuries to have an excuse, like we do. But I think a lot of that is just they don't have good players. I don't think that's on Anthony. Would he be my first choice to be a head coach? No, I don't think he's ready quite yet, but I think he still ought to be mentioned. Offensive coordinator Kliff Kingsbury. That's another guy we got to talk about. A guy who's kind of went back and forth between the college and the National Football League ranks. He's done unbelievable things with Washington, with Jaden Daniels. They got the best rushing offense in the league without Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler, with Bill Krosky-Merritt as the running back one. We all know he flashed onto the scene in 2012 with Johnny Manziel. He was looking all cool on the sideline, his spiked hair, his sunglasses. Who's this new, young, fresh face? It's Kliff Kingsbury. So Texas Tech took a gamble. 2013 to 2018, he was their head coach. Then the Arizona Cardinals took an even bigger gamble once they decided to bring in Kyler Murray. He was there for 4 seasons. Didn't work out. 2023, kind of get back on his feet. He joined Lincoln Riley out in Southern California as an offensive analyst. And since then, since 2024, he's been with Washington. The ability to lead is a question mark. He's not a guy that walks into a room and commands the room, that commands the attention. And for that reason, I would probably be against it. But for a guy who'd be a hell of a lot fun to watch an offense for, to watch what he does with Lamar, Kliff Kingsbury's your guy. Could he get a defensive coordinator that kind of brings the best out of everybody? That can, command that attention, command that respect, command that discipline? Maybe that would help, but I don't think I would hire Kliff Kingsbury. Would you hire Kliff Kingsbury? Let me know down below by giving me a yes or a no in the comment section down below. We got 2 more days to go, okay, so don't go anywhere. You let me know in the comment section right now by giving me a yes or no. Robert Saleh. This one, if I was creating a list of the top 5, I think he would be in my top 5. I think my top 5 would go those first 3 you saw, Mike Macdonald and Robert Saleh. Look, things did not go well in New York. Believe me. I've got producer Gage sitting behind the computer right now, and he's shaking his head because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I think a lot of that was not Robert Saleh's fault. He was given an absolute just stick of dynamite and Aaron Rodgers and everything that comes with him, and was just like, okay, make this work. Of course it blew up in his face. There had to be a fall guy for it, and Lord knows it's never going to be Aaron Rodgers, and so it was Robert Saleh. I think if you give him a stable team, a stable franchise, he could have a lot of success. He's tough. He's gritty. He coaches like a Raven, right? They say play like a Raven. He coaches like one. He's doing wonderful things in San Francisco this year, even with an injury-ridden team. And I know you don't want to hear anything about injuries. We got our own problems to worry about. I get that. But Robert Saleh, he's high on my list. Call me crazy. Last one's going to be spicy as well. Then we're going to get you out of here. Marcus Freeman, head coach of Notre Dame. If you want a guy that's a leader, that's him. Okay? It's funny that, in my opinion, like 2 of the strongest leaders in this list of 10 guys is Marcus Freeman and Dan Lanning. He spent some time at Purdue, 2013, 2016, then was the defensive coordinator in Cincinnati for 4 seasons actually. Then got that jump up to Notre Dame, and then, of course, once Brian Kelly left, they rushed him in as the head coach, and he led his team to a national championship berth last season. But the same problems that arise with Dan Lanning also arise with Marcus Freeman. Can he hire a staff? Does he have the connections to hire a staff? That's the massive question mark right there. I don't know if he does. But if you give him a good staff, kind of like I said with Lanning, from my trust perspective, trusting a guy to lead a team, Marcus Freeman, he's got every ounce of it. That's going to do it. A little bit longer of a show today. We're going to go about 18 and a half minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed it, though. And also let me know who's some coaches you want to see down below. While you're down there, you'll find my social media. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you change that right now.